like he did the last time, Ortiz gonna finish him.
Wow.
So he got to tighten up his defense.
As the rivalry continues to grow, Terence Crawford has taken another shot at Jaron Ennis, saying that his career could eventually be stopped by none other than Vergil Ortiz Jr. Crawford broke down what he believes are Boots' biggest weaknesses, saying the young star must improve his defense if he wants to stay on top. According to Crawford, Ennis has a habit of becoming too aggressive and leaving himself open during exchanges. He explained that while Boots has incredible speed, explosive power, and natural athletic ability, those strengths alone will not be enough to beat the very best fighters in the sport.
More explosive than most, but at the same time, he's shown in the past that he can get careless and that he's going out there just to fight, and I don't think when you get higher and higher, that's going to be enough.
Sharing his prediction, Crawford said he believes Vergil Ortiz Jr. would stop Boots if the fight reached the kind of dangerous moments Ennis has experienced before. He pointed to Ennis' tendency to exchange punches recklessly, saying that style plays directly into the hands of a dangerous finisher like Ortiz. Crawford insisted that Boots needs to stop turning every fight into a brawl and instead sharpen the technical side of his game. He stressed that raw talent by itself cannot overcome elite competition and added that Ortiz has the killer instinct needed to finish the job whenever the opportunity presents itself.
If Boots get hurt like he did the last time, Ortiz gonna finish him.
Wow.
So he got to tighten up his defense.
10 steps behind you, right?
He got to tighten up his defense. He got to stop exchanging. I know.
On the other side, Jaron Ennis fired back at Crawford's comments about him and a possible fight with Ortiz. Ennis insisted that his abilities are much better than many people give him credit for. He claimed that his skill set is superior not only to the current generation of fighters, but even to Crawford himself. Boots dismissed the criticism surrounding his defense and remained confident that his natural talent would be too much for anyone standing across the ring. He also said Crawford made the correct choice by retiring and ended his response with a warning, saying that Bud should stay retired because the new generation has already moved ahead of him.
You get him to come out of retirement and face you?
I ain't care about that. I ain't gonna lie. I'm locked in on his inner eyes. That skills pay the bills. He gonna see. He gonna see first as soon as the bell ring. He gonna see. It's really different in here. Like he a lot faster than I thought, a lot slicker than I thought, a lot stronger, a lot powerful. It's really different. He gonna see firsthand. I think he'll be.
Ennis also answered Vergil Ortiz Jr.'s comments by questioning why Ortiz turned down the chance to fight him when the opportunity first became available. He brushed aside Ortiz's predictions of a knockout, pointing out that Vergil often stands directly in front of his opponents and has already been knocked down several times during his career. Boots confidently stated that his own skills are on an entirely different level and said Ortiz would realize that once they finally meet in the ring. He also made it clear that he has no concerns about Ortiz's punching power, believing that his own offense would be the biggest threat in the fight.
Vergil came out and said that he was going to sleep you. So I just want to know your comments on those.
Why he ain't take the fight in the beginning? You know what I'm saying? Bro, I ain't be talking, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm trying to tell you, I'm really different. He gonna see firsthand. Because he gets hurt a lot. He flat-footed, and he been dropped multiple times. When he get hit by me, it's gonna be different. I'm trying to tell y'all.
And he's no walk in the park for no one, so he's a threat to anyone that he step foot in the ring with, Well, he got tremendous speed. He got great power, defense, reflexes, all that, But the only thing that I can say is I'm 10 steps ahead of him. Like, I'm 10 steps ahead of him in smarts. And I think, that's where he'd get in trouble.
Moving on. While discussing the rivalry between the two fighters, Aqib Faiz disagreed with Crawford's claim that he was far ahead of Ennis. He questioned whether Bud truly had such a massive advantage. Although he admitted Crawford has far more experience inside the ring, he argued that Boots possesses elite boxing intelligence that many people overlook. He explained that Ennis' aggressive style often creates opportunities because of his confidence rather than exposing serious technical flaws. In his opinion, if Boots becomes a little more patient, he would be an extremely difficult opponent for anyone in boxing.
If Crawford were in a position to be hurt by Boots, and of course you can counter and do whatever you want to do, I think that's logical to say. But to say like he's 10 steps ahead, I don't see him 10 steps ahead of Boots. I think he obviously got more experience because you're an older fighter, but I don't see him 10 steps ahead of Boots in no fashion when it comes to the game of boxing. I think Boots is a very high IQ fighter, and I think your best chance against him is him. His own bravado, his own heart, and his own will to knock you the fuck out is the only reason you really got a shot against him. If he ever shut it down the way Floyd did when he started going up in weight and just say, look, I'm fighting off rhythm, I'm not putting a bunch of punches together, and I'm fighting like boring the way Floyd started fighting later, he'll wash everybody because he looking for everything. You know what I'm saying? Boots is giving you exciting fights because he's coming to hurt.
Continuing his thoughts, Aqib also addressed Crawford's criticism of Ennis' resume and found the argument somewhat ironic considering Bud's own career. He pointed out that Crawford spent years hearing similar criticism about the level of competition he faced during his prime. Aqib argued that Ennis is still building his legacy and continues to take meaningful fights while developing his career, unlike Crawford, who was already in a completely different stage. He believed it was unfair and inconsistent to judge a rising contender by the same standards and insisted that Boots deserves credit for facing dangerous opponents early in his championship run.
He would beat Zayas too. But when you look at Crawford's career, until the end of his career, Crawford hadn't fought anybody that people thought that had a chance against him. You know what I'm saying? That was his biggest criticism, was his strength of opposition. So for him to use that same criticism on an up-and-coming Boots not at the tail end of his career. He's ascending, and he's fighting guys like that, right? So I think that that's the only knock I had, was to try to knock the opponent was my issue. But him going back and forth and saying what he think he can do against the Boots, I get that. You're a fighter. Fighters think like that. I don't think Boots would say. Boots said the same easy work, you know what I mean? Which, that's just the way fighters are, because they look at it like, at the end of the day.
Likewise, Tim Bradley shared his opinion on a possible Jaron Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz Jr. showdown and responded to everyone doubting Boots, including Crawford. Bradley expressed confidence that Ennis would come away with the victory. He rejected the idea that Ortiz's punching power would determine the outcome, arguing that Boots is simply the more complete fighter. Bradley believes Ennis' speed, versatility, and wide range of offensive weapons would overwhelm Ortiz. He also suggested that Vergil's straightforward fighting style would actually play into Boots' strengths against such a dynamic opponent.
Ortiz, we may see a completely different guy, especially if he gets touched.
Man, he gonna cook Ortiz. He gonna cook Ortiz just like he just got done cooking Zayas. Look, man.
But that was expected, though.
Listen to me.
You're talking about Zayas, a guy that isn't known for his punching power at all. That was
or his speed, or really his skills. He checks boxes at a decent level, but not at an elite level.
But the thing is that he didn't feel the pop. You got to understand that about Boots. Boots is willing to take yours to get his, and it's a trap, right? A lot of his flaws, but I'm just telling you that I know it's not always a good thing, but it works for him, and I think that he fights off of feeling. That's what it is. It's feeling.
Meanwhile, Andre Berto gave a different opinion on a potential Ennis-Ortiz matchup. He warned that Boots could run into serious problems against the hard-hitting Texan. Berto explained that Ennis' willingness to trade punches at close range becomes much more dangerous against someone with Ortiz's power. While Boots managed to survive those exchanges against Amanda Stanionis, Berto believes Vergil has the kind of knockout ability needed to make him pay for those mistakes. He emphasized that Ennis' willingness to fight toe-to-toe could become a major weakness as he faces tougher competition, and concluded that Ortiz's relentless pressure and punching power would present an even greater challenge.
And just did what Philly fighters do, stay in the pocket and just bang it out. He can get in big trouble fighting a guy like Ortiz.
You got too much Philly in him, Tim.
Too much Philly in him, Tim. I'm telling you. I don't believe that he fought off of feel. I think that he fought off of instinct.
It's both.
I think
is there a difference?
I mean, just on straight instinct of me getting hit, me getting hurt. Let me just sit down and bite down. I think that he's going to be able to do that. I mean, I really believe.
In other words, the way he feels, is because he's Philly. Is when I get hit, I'm getting back. I'm getting my back.
Just like Tim, Johnny Nelson responded to Crawford's dismissal of Ennis' victory and suggested the comments were driven by jealousy. He pointed out that Bud entered almost every fight in his career as the favorite, with the exceptions being the bouts against Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez. Nelson argued that it was unfair for Crawford to downplay Boots' achievement when he had also benefited from being heavily favored throughout much of his own career. He expressed frustration with the different standards applied to different fighters and concluded that many people were simply looking for reasons to take credit away from Ennis.
Yeah, it's called hate. Like right now, I'm tired of mentioning his name, but I seen Terence Crawford on the Sean Porter is like, oh, well, people hyping it up because he beat Xander. Nobody thought he would beat Xander. That's 98% of his career. The only debatable was Errol Spence and Canelo.
You mean everybody thought that he would beat Xander?
Yeah, like, but to give you credit, I mean, like, I ain't going bash because everybody thought you was going to win all the other fights in your career. Nobody thought it was like, oh yeah, Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Ndongo, Hank Lundy, and all that was going to beat you. You was always a heavy favorite besides in them two fights. So seeing the shed is all that is just, to me, is a little, I think it's competitive jealousy and all that. And
not stopping there, Johnny also criticized Vergil Ortiz Jr. for his recent activity on social media, accusing him of making excuses instead of focusing on competing inside the ring. He mentioned that Vergil was dealing with legal matters while still claiming he would knock Boots out. Johnny argued that Ortiz should handle his own business before talking about Ennis. He also suggested that Vergil's trash talk carried little weight because of his lengthy absence from competition and dismissed the comments as empty words from someone who had yet to prove them in the ring.
Vergil Ortiz too, like he came out tweeting and shit. Like one thing about it, man, Vergil Ortiz he's straight up pussy. I look at this situation like, yo, and shout out to, Robert Garcia. They usually have killers, Mikey Garcia, Bam, they all have heart. I'm not, that whole side, don't make it a side versus side thing, it's just Vergil Ortiz. He put, that could have been him fighting, that's one. You're going through these fake legal issues, because I don't even know if you're going through, I think it's just playing now, like you're going through legal issues, then you're going to sit there tweeting, why, oh yeah, watching Xander, dissing Xander and Boots, oh yeah, I would put Boots to sleep. Man, shut the fuck up. You could, the first thing when he stepped to you, yeah, I'm about to fight Errol Spence, I'm about to fight, I don't know, I'd rather fight Errol Spence. That's a dream fight, and you disrespectful to Errol Spence.
In contrast, well-known YouTube boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult reacted to Crawford's comments that downplayed Ennis' victory, saying Bud has every right to express his opinion. He compared Crawford's criticism of Boots' win to the way many fans once dismissed Crawford's own accomplishments early in his career. Showbiz explained that everyone is entitled to their opinion, but questioned why so many people suddenly wanted a Crawford-Ennis fight after Bud had already retired. He reminded fans that very few people pushed for that matchup when it was originally discussed, and concluded that the debate no longer matters because Crawford is no longer an active fighter.
Thinks that we're overrating his victory over Xander Zayas a bit? Fine, certainly. I get it. Just like when you say, hey, why nobody give me credit for Ricky Burns and Postal and shit? And we're like, dude, get that shit out of here. Kell Brook, Sean Porter, we like, dude, you supposed to beat them when you beat them. That energy that Bud has for Boots and the Xander Zayas, that's why he's like, wait a minute, I whipped Ricky Burns' ass. Same shit. Everybody can have their opinions. It's fine. The only thing that bothers me is all of you booty buddies out there talking about, hey, Terence Crawford will whoop Boots. Boots ain't ready for Terence Crawford. Shut your asses up. Shut your asses up. Shut your asses up. Because we were saying this a while back, a year ago, even more than that. Terence Crawford versus Boots. And what y'all say? There's no money in it. Nobody want to see that. Nobody want to.
However, Bernie the Boxer still held out hope that the matchup could have happened one day. He admitted that Bud operated on a different level than Boots. Bernie argued that Crawford's experience, ring IQ, and overall understanding of boxing would have made the difference, comparing the matchup to the way Floyd Mayweather Jr. outclassed a young Canelo Alvarez. He acknowledged Ennis' incredible athleticism and punching power, but believed he still lacked the veteran knowledge that Crawford possessed. Bernie finished by saying the fight likely would have followed a similar pattern to Mayweather versus Canelo, while also admitting that the discussion is now meaningless because Crawford has already retired.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I say, we just gonna, you know what I'm saying? Now that would have been a Canelo Mayweather type of deal. That would have been a Canelo Mayweather type deal because Boots has a lot of talent. He's young, you know, as far as his career, he's young. And, you know, I mean, looks like he got the world in his hands, but, you know, you got an old master like Crawford, just like Mayweather was. So that'll be the, you know, that'll have been the thing. You know, he had the athletic, you know, he had the athleticism, he got the speed, you know, and he got the power too, but, you know, the mind, you know, and Crawford might be, you know, like I say, a little older, but he might be a little smarter too, a little step ahead, you know, so just like Mayweather was. So I would compare that to the Canelo Mayweather joint, him and Boots, Bud and Boots.
Meanwhile, Robert Garcia offered his own opinion on the possible showdown and confidently predicted that Vergil Ortiz Jr. would earn a stoppage victory if the two fighters met. He highlighted Ortiz's recent wins over elite opponents and pointed out how Vergil made Israel Madrimov look ordinary, despite Madrimov giving Crawford a difficult fight. Garcia also felt that many fans had overlooked some of Ortiz's best performances, especially his quick finish over a former opponent that demonstrated just how dangerous he can be. While he praised Boots as a gifted fighter, Garcia maintained that Ortiz possesses a unique quality that separates him from everyone else.
Vergil, look, do people forget that it was just early last year, that Vergil beat Madrimov and the way he did and the skills that he showed, a Madrimov who almost beat Crawford, you know, and then Vergil goes out and does what he did with Madrimov. I think not only Timothy, but a lot of people might have forgot that already. And then he goes and dominates second round knocker Lubin. Man, you know, it hasn't been not even a year since Vergil's last fight, and it seems like they already forgot his last couple of performances.
Like Robert, Teddy Atlas also analyzed a possible Ennis-Ortiz fight. He noted that Vergil has recently shown an impressive ability to box effectively from long range, something many people had not seen from him before. Atlas pointed to Ortiz's victory over Madrimov, who had pushed Crawford to his limits, as proof that Vergil is much more than simply a knockout puncher. He said both fighters have tremendous confidence, toughness, and belief in themselves, which would make for a thrilling contest. Atlas added that Ortiz has continued to develop as a complete boxer and is far more versatile than many fans realize.
It'll be, you know, it could be a phone booth fight. Two good body punches. Two confident guys, you know. Two guys with great heart. I mean, look, I say this. Vergil showed me a few fights ago that he had a dimension I didn't know he had. When he was just, you know, going through guys, knocking them out with body shots, sinking and destroying. I don't think I knew or anyone knew that he had the ability to use his legs and box and do some boxing. He showed me that dimension. He showed me that dimension in that fight that some people thought he lost. First fight that he got tested. We didn't get a knockout.
Atlas also discussed other possible opponents, saying he would love to see Ennis face Sebastian Fundora as well. He observed that Fundora has become increasingly comfortable using his incredible height and reach while constantly applying pressure behind his jab. Atlas acknowledged that Fundora's size naturally makes him a large target, but believed Ennis' accuracy could take advantage of those openings. He explained that both Ortiz and Fundora would bring very different challenges for the rising star, and finished by saying either fight would be exciting for boxing fans.
And then, of course, the giant, Fundora. I mean, he's learning how to fight tall a little bit better. He is, a little better. But still, He is coming after you behind that jab. He doesn't stop. I don't know what his punch numbers are. They got to go through the roof. As soon as I think he jabs in his sleep. I think that he's like, if you went in and you peeked in on him when he's sleeping like this with that southpaw jab. The jab. He's coming out of the locker room. I think when he's eating dinner. He never stops. He don't leave you alone. And he's coming forward. He's always putting pressure. He's breaking you down. And then he puts punches together nice. He goes to the body. He throws uppercuts. You know, he puts them together real well. But he's tall and he's a target. And, you know, when he fights tall, it's a little tough.
In the end, the overall feeling throughout the boxing community seemed to be that Jaron "Boots" Ennis had finally earned the signature victory that confirmed his place among the sport's biggest stars. Although some critics continued to highlight his defensive mistakes and the difficult moments he experienced against Amanda Stanionis, most people agreed that his ability to overcome adversity and stop a determined opponent demonstrated the mindset of a true champion. With Crawford officially retired, any discussion about a future fight between the two has effectively come to an end, allowing fans to focus on the more realistic and exciting matchups waiting at 154 pounds. Ultimately, the boxing world appeared to agree on one thing. The era of Boots Ennis has truly begun. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated with everything happening in boxing, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more boxing news, analysis, and future updates.